Hello, this is your host, Austin Hopkins, and welcome to the Introvert Leader Podcast. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. I'm happy to have you here today. We're going to do something a little different. What I want to do is do a little reflection, a little recap, look at the last year. What am I proud of, grateful for? What are the things that could have gone better? I want to talk a little bit about what's coming up next because there's some exciting stuff on the podcast coming up next. So what I thought I'd do is kind of start off by sharing a couple things that I'm really grateful for and proud of. So to kick things off, I got to say, I'm really proud of the podcast and the growth that we've seen. I did not have a huge social media following before I started this. I did not have hundreds of thousands of people that were ready to tune in. So I really had to build this from scratch, just word of mouth, kind of guerrilla style, right? Grassroots. And I'm excited to say that it's in the top 5% of all podcasts that are being listened to. So globally, top 5% is pretty impressive for myself. I don't say that to brag, just to say I'm really proud of that. And I'm really thankful to obviously everyone who's listened and made that possible. Also really proud that we were able to hit a full year in business for the coaching company. You know, I started STS with my good friend and business partner, Kyle, and just really proud that we were able to hit a year in business. We were able to kind of get our stride, sign multiple clients, and really kind of start to make an impact on people's lives. And we're only getting started. Really excited. We're coming out with some new packages, some new courses, things like that, all going to be coming later this year, or I should say in 2025, but really proud of that. This is my first time starting a business. As an adult, I had a little tiny business as a kid, so it doesn't really count, but I'm proud of that. And I've learned a ton, and some things went really well and some things didn't go so well, but overall, I think it's been a cool experience. Personally, really, really proud of my wife. She got her dream job in 2024, something that she's been working for a while. She now is able to work in the same company, 10 minutes from our house. She gets to make a huge impact at work. She got a really cool director title just today, actually. So really, she got a cool job, cool title, is able to make an impact and really help our family out financially, which is awesome. So I'm really proud of my wife, and I just think that's such a win for her and totally well-deserved. Also really excited, we bought a cool house here in AZ. We're official. We're now, official AZ folks. I don't see us moving anytime soon, and it's just really fun to actually have some roots planted here and have a spot that we can call our own. And on that same kind of note, I'm also really excited and grateful that my family has decided to move here. So my sister moved here about 6 months ago, and my parents actually just bought a home and are going to be moving here in about 2 or 3 months. So it's really cool when you're able to kind of find a new spot, plant some roots, and then, the people around you, your friends and family, realize how cool it is, and they want to move here too. So I'm really grateful that my family's going to be moving here. And just really grateful for the success on the podcast and the coaching company. Again, it's been kind of a year of just like me experimenting with stuff, getting out of my comfort zone. So when you see those kind of results, it's really proof that kind of what I've been putting out into the world and my ideas, my vision of what this was going to be is coming to fruition. So again, really, really proud of that. That being said, no year is perfect, right? And I cannot sit here and tell you everything went great this year. So 3 things that did not go so well this year for me that I'm really going to be putting more of a focus in 2025. So number 1, personally, is I didn't prioritize eating healthy. I really didn't. I don't know if it's because all the food here in AZ is amazing. I don't know if it's because of the stress of buying a house and trying to get the coaching company off the ground, or just all the stuff with moving, not in a good excuse, but that's just reality. I did not prioritize healthy eating. I am happy to say I really stayed consistent with the gym, but that's something I want to continue to do in 2025. So eating whole ingredients, less processed food, 80% of the diet, making sure that it's really clean and strict, and then, having some fun with the other 20%. So that's something that I'm really working on, trying to find the right brands to eat, the kind of the go-to meals. Cause I don't know if you're like me, but it's kind of hard to like always be creative and think of a new healthy meal every day. But if you can kind of come up with 2 or 3, 4 or 5 meals that you can have every week, you kind of just repeat them. So that's kind of what we've been working on. So that didn't go incredibly well in 2024. So something I'm focusing on for next year. In regards to the business, 2 things come to mind. Number 1 is I have realized that I did not outsource what I'm not good at. And I decided that I was just going to do it myself. So I'll give you some examples. Coming up with like a YouTube thumbnail or a podcast interview episode artwork. I would spend hours working on those things. And guys, I suck at it. I am no good. I don't have that design eye, or maybe I do. I just don't have the skills yet or the ability. And quite frankly, I don't know if I want to. And so this year I was not good at outsourcing. Just now this month, I've really embraced like, hey, Austin, if there's something that you're not good at, instead of spending 10 hours trying to figure it out, why don't you just hire somebody for a couple of $100? Your time is worth more than that. And they're good at that, and let them stay in their strength zone and you stay in your strength zone. So that's something that didn't go so well this year, as I decided to just kind of do it all myself and realize that that's maybe not the best way to do it. So going forward this year and starting this month, I'm going to be outsourcing more. So whether it's editing my podcast, or it's creating artwork, or, creating, different collateral for the business, marketing collateral, instead of trying to do it myself, I'm going to hire folks to do that. The other thing that didn't go so well this year is I didn't get as comfortable and record as many video episodes for the podcast as I'd like. I think I've done a total of 3 or 4. Guys, that's not enough. I know that video is the key to this thing. That's what's going to continue to bring more viewers, more listeners in, and see what the value is of the content. And so I am, happy to say that I've now invested in a podcast studio at my house. So I've got this thing looking good, been, getting it painted, getting the right kind of soundproofing things in here, making sure that it looks good aesthetically on camera. So I got no excuses now, folks, but that's something that didn't go so well in 2024. I really thought I was going to be much more active on video, and I wasn't. So that's something that I'm really prioritizing for next year. Outsourcing, going all in on video, and then personally making sure that I continue to take care of myself, physically, by eating the right kind of stuff, because I think that's the key, right? And it's not just working out, it's what we put in our bodies is kind of what ends up coming out and how we operate in the world and all that kind of jazz. So, something else I'm really excited about when I kind of look forward to the future of the podcast and the future of the coaching business, 2 things come to mind. Number one, video is going to be a big part of it. I've got this podcast studio working now. It's looking good. It's going to sound good. And I want to make this a regular thing to where when I release an episode, it's an audio version, but it's also a video, option as well, and have that clipped out. So, I am happy to say that I do have a really fun video interview episode coming up on December 18th. My next interview is going to be with one of my favorite people in the world, David Rand. Dave works in my favorite industry of all time, coffee. So this one's going to be all about coffee. Dave is just an incredible guy, great family. So it was a pleasure sitting down with him, putting the last kind of finishing edits on there. And it's going to be quite fun to kind of have you guys see what that conversation looked like with Dave. I think it's going to be a good one. So that one's coming out December 18th. But, I want to say thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in this year. On average, every episode, we had hundreds, 300 to 500 people listening to every single episode that I dropped this year. And that really just kind of warms my heart, man. Just being honest, that really kind of blows me away that folks that would listen to it that consistently. And, a lot of times we'd have 200 people listen to it within the first 2 days that an episode would come out. And I just can't thank you enough for making this, a reality. My dream's a reality, as cliche as that sounds. But, as always, if there's anything that I can be doing better, if you have questions, career questions, leadership questions, if there's things that you want to hear me change on the podcast, man, I am so open to feedback. Literally, I can take it all, good, bad, ugly. You send it my way, theintrovertleader@gmail.com. I want to continue to make this the best career podcast of all time. That's my goal. I want to make this the go-to place where you have a question about your career, leadership, you go right here to The Introvert Leader to get the information and the advice that you need. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your year and make it a great day. This has been the Introvert Leader Podcast. Subscribe for new episodes every other Wednesday.